Hey! Is that better?
We're live.
We're live. Welcome to another session, Three Ball Walk. Bob, Eddie, Julio here. The World Series is over. The off-season is beginning. The awards are about to be given out. A lot to talk about in baseball. What do you got as a big topic of discussion?
Well, I think the biggest topic for me that I took away from Game 7 is if the result had turned differently, if the Indians win, the conversation is not about the Indians winning. It's about Madden's stupid moves.
Totally agree.
That is, and I don't want to. I agree with you. That is every single baseball game.
No, it's
and
not.
I think
I
think a manager's
no,
moves are subject to the end result.
No,
And
not
oftentimes,
like this. I mean, not like this. You took out a guy who was dealing when you didn't have to take him out to bring in a guy because you wanted to have him pitch because you thought it was a better whatever move. Okay?
Yep.
That's not a move that you normally make. Then you bring in your closer way too early when you didn't need your closer in way too early then. And then when you needed your closer, you didn't have your closer. And they bailed him out. Those decisions, had the game gone the other way, are not normal managerial decisions.
Totally agree. And but I'll tell you what, Francona game 1. Kluber's throwing a 2-hit shutout through 5 innings and he's done.
Yeah.
And Andrew Miller comes in
But the Cubbies didn't have an Andrew Miller.
No.
They had a John Lester.
But he said that Lester was going to be used, who was the pressure guy who handled it.
Giles
Where
Burford,
Hendricks had never been in a Game 7 situation.
But he was dealing.
So was Kluber in Game 1.
But
and that's a very important. That's a very important game for the Indians to get ahead. Kluber's dealing. He's going to throw a complete game shutout.
I had more than one person who watched our show who Giles Burford, I can't say his name, I'm tired. He texted me while the game was on. Madden's a wuss. Joe Madden managed the worst game ever in Game 7. I never seen Joe. I watched Tampa Bay when he was there. I never saw him do that. And I think he was. We watched the game together.
You want to know what, in my opinion, what it was?
What?
He tried to out Francona.
I think so. I think so.
Because that was the way Francona was managing the World Series.
Yeah.
But I'm still saying, if in that Game 1, okay, if Andrew Miller comes in and gives up a run, everyone is sitting there saying, why the heck did he take Kluber out?
Right, but I said that before Lester even threw a pitch. I'm like, this doesn't make sense to bring Lester in now.
If Lester does what Madden thought I don't think Madden says, well, Lester's going to give up a couple runs, so let's bring him in now.
No, but I know you don't think that. But what I'm saying is there was no need for that at that moment. You panicked early.
You're right, but if
you go
the
through
way
that
he had it, if the way he had it drawn up,
but you didn't. He didn't stay true to what he said he was going to do prior to.
Exactly right.
And that fact that he wasn't going to bring Lester in with a mixed up, dirty inning, and that's exactly what he did. He got him up way too early, and then once he got up, he kept him up, and then it was like, okay, I'm going to use him even though I shouldn't. If that had been any other game, he wouldn't have used Lester, or he would have set him back down and he would have gone to his bullpen. And if you can't trust your bullpen after 180-something games, then you got a problem in your bullpen.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Curt Schilling wins a couple games and then saves games. In the World Series, you manage a little different.
You do, I agree with that, but that was off the reservation weird.
And woulda, coulda, shoulda. If it had happened where Cleveland had won, don't you think then Madden is thrown into the category with the Boston Red Sox and Bill Buckner? I mean, I leave Buckner on the field because I want to be there for the celebration. I mean, I think one thing that I think really got to me with John Madden.
John Madden?
Joe Madden. Sorry, John Madden. John Madden.
Boom!
He's playing football. Is Joe Madden was the fact that, he just wasn't himself managing the game. He's a much better manager than
He looked nervous.
He grew that beard.
He looked nervous.
He looked nervous.
He looked nervous. He looked like it wasn't comfortable for him. And I get it. It's not comfortable when you're there in the 7th game of the World Series. I can't imagine the pressure that's under that. So I grant you that. But that was my takeaway from that.
But I really felt that, and I think I said this last week, I really felt that Chicago was playing with house money. Because when Cleveland blew that 3-1 lead, I thought the pressure was all on the Indians. They were at home. I mean, they win Game 5.
Well,
they won one at Wrigley.
Well, Naquin sure did show that the pressure was all on them in the first inning of Game 6.
Yeah.
And I think that set the tone there for the last couple games.
Game 7 has traditionally, we talked about that, and I said last week the pressure's on the home team, but statistically, Game 7s have gone majority-wise to the home team has won Game 7s. And so the fact that Cleveland came back, as we talked about last week, the team that scored first ended up winning. But it didn't happen the way we thought it was.
You're absolutely right. And when that home run got hit in the
Oh,
eighth
man.
inning, I mean, it was just wow.
It was wild.
That's all, I just sat there and I go, wow.
I tell you, there's some people that have said that the thing that saved the series for the Cubs was the rain delay, which allowed the momentum to calm down and allowed the Cubs to sort of settle back down, gather their wits
Was it
about 'em.
necessary?
For them?
What? Well,
What I mean, was the rain delay necessary?
Yeah.
I can't
bring
tell
the
you.
tarp on the field to take it off the field?
I can't tell you because I went to sleep. Truthfully, I recorded it, and so I had it recorded to watch the next morning. And guess when the recording ended? As soon as they started to roll out the tarp.
So you didn't see it.
So I just saw the Sports Center highlights of it. So I don't know if it was necessary or not. I wasn't awake to see it.
And they showed the satellite, and here's Cleveland with this little cloud, and then up Lake Erie there, Toledo is just a monsoon.
It looked like it was
and it's
coming that
coming
way.
in, and it's coming in, and they stopped the game. And I'm like, if the game's going on in Toledo, I can see why they're stopping the game, but they're playing it in Cleveland.
Right.
And sure enough, it drizzled a little bit and stopped, and then they said, let's get it in before the big
Heavy stuff comes down.
But why
played
did they
through, Your
stop it to
Eminence.
begin?
I don't know. Maybe they felt it was unsafe. Maybe they felt like they didn't want a game to end because of a wet ball in the outfield or a pitcher slipping and throwing a wild pitch. I mean, yeah, I get it. This is the seventh game of the World Series. You don't want it to end under
Because
those
of the
conditions.
weather
Yeah.
affecting it.
So, I mean, I don't know, but I think it definitely helped them to calm down. I don't think Chapman thought that ball he threw, that was a great pitch and a great swing. Just put the bat head on the ball, and that 100-mile-an-hour fastball, you don't have to hit it hard. You just got to hit it solid.
Just little line drive down the line.
And he was spent.
So what do the Cubs do in their outfield next year?
Who's the free agent?
Well, Dexter Fowler.
Signing.
The guys. I think you have to sign him. He signed with the Cubs.
Okay.
He was going to go to Baltimore, and he decided to come back and sign with Chicago. But
Your ex-Brave?
he's there. Jason Hayward's there.
Who's that?
Jason Hayward's there.
I think so.
Yeah,
Okay.
he won a Gold Glove.
Zobrist?
It's hard. If you ride the wave right now, he's the MVP of the World Series, I think. And Zobrist is not just an outfielder. He's a utility guy. You can put him anywhere.
Okay.
I think that depends. I think it depends. I think it depends on Zobrist of whether or not he's willing to take less than market value. Because I think he can get more somewhere else. It depends on whether he wants to stay in.
Madden's going to put him in the lineup every day and find a place for him.
Right, but that's what I mean. He can get more money somewhere else than they're going to be able to pay him with all these people they got to sign. Schwarber, I think, was another key. The fact of what we talked about, you guys didn't like. The only thing that allowed Schwarber to play is the fact that it was in an American League ballpark.
Because he didn't do anything in Chicago.
And if the National League had won the World Series, he would only played in 3 games instead of 4.
Yep.
So there you go.
The All-Star game. Yeah.
The All-Star game, yeah.
Yep.
So the All-Star game was important.
Yeah, Schwarber.
One of them could-
Schwarber, you look at Schwarber and you think, okay, great. He again, like Zobrist, kind of the aura right now is around him. But what can he do in spring training? Will he be healthy? Will the offseason give him a chance to build his leg strength back up? It's going to be interesting to see what happens come March.
Oh, I think he'll firmly be able to play. I mean, he looked 100%.
Yeah.
There, other than maybe the ability to cut and start. But I thought he looked okay to swing the bat. And that's the biggest part is that torque on the swing on the knee. ACLs with that swing and that back leg, that's usually another one waiting to happen though. So I don't know that if you're a general manager that you're going to roll out the bank account and give it to him.
And what was interesting was in 3 of the games, one was started by Coughlin, one was started by Soler, one was started by Almora. So it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hayward didn't start.
Hayward didn't start
Most of them.
most of them.
And I don't know that Hayward. I mean, I can tell you, looking at, I'm not a hitting coach, but I don't have to be a hitting coach to figure out what was wrong with Hayward. He was pulling off everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's leaning back on his swing. He's too close to the plate. He's leaning in, and every pitch he's having to lean his upper body away from, which means you have absolutely no power and no drive.
Right, and unless it's an inside pitch,
Even then
and
you
if it is,
You're going to pop it up.
or he's driving it over the dugout into the right.
Right.
I mean, he hit more foul balls into the
Into those
right field seats
yep.
because
You can't stay on it.
That's the only thing he can do with that pitch.
So, I think that's an easy fix if he'll listen to a good hitting instructor
Yep.
who can fix that. I don't know why he went to that kind of leaning in, but every pitch his upper body is coming back on. There's no way you can have any power hitting like that. You can't hit anything like
And he
that.
had his worst power year ever. I mean,
Well-
he only hit 220 for the year. I mean, it's coming
Well,
over
they-
from Atlanta. They expected a heck of a lot more. out of
He's
him.
got a lot. He's got a lot of money coming.
He does, and they're not going to let him go
Yeah.
unless he's absolutely horrible again next year.
Where's our little timer thing?
Oh, we forgot it. I don't know where it is. It didn't start.
Okay.
Okay, so we got a few minutes. So maybe
Yeah,
about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Let's go with 5 minutes.
Okay.
5 minutes it is.
Okay.
But if you got Hayward, the Cubs at least have the other than Fowler. I mean, for free agents. I mean, the other guy is Chapman, who's another free agent. Do you stay with Chapman? Do you keep him?
Absolutely. I'm sorry. If it comes down to Chapman and lose everybody else, I keep
I
Chapman.
keep Chapman. I agree. I mean, I don't see. He's a once in a lifetime arm.
He's dead at the end.
The two guys in the infield on the corners aren't too shabby
bad. No, they're not
to
too
hold
bad.
on to either.
But they're not free
They're
agents.
not free
right?
agents.
No.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about them this year. They're locked up. You're okay with that.
and you make sure they stay there for a long time.
You do, and you sort of, I'm sure Theo Epstein is much smarter than the three of us combined in terms of baseball knowledge.
Probably.
And so
I
putting,
Don't
you know.
don't give him so much credit. Come on, Eddie.
I mean, he's won 2 World Series with franchises that hadn't
You
won.
would have won 3
No, I wouldn't
if
have.
you had the opportunity.
No, I can't understand.
So
all
does
the
he go to
economics.
Cleveland now and break their streak?
If Cleveland was smart, they'd try to sign him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Theo can write his own check wherever he wants to go. But if he left the city of Chicago now, the mob might come after him. So I don't know that he'd be safe.
The new Cubs look, he's wearing blue.
Yeah, no. Hey, by the way, where's the hat?
You want to know something? They weren't there.
I saw a friend that had one.
Really?
Yeah,
I walked over to the baseball stadium and it wasn't there.
I saw a friend that had one. Had it, he got one. I don't know where he got it, but he had one.
They weren't too thrilled about it. I mean, the Jacksonville people.
The Jacksonville jumbo shrimp we talked about last
No,
week.
I asked my buddy in Jacksonville, can you get me one because I can't find one. And he said I would give you one. Now he's a longtime Jacksonville resident, baseball fan, sports guy. I would give you one, but I'm afraid when I gave it to you, it would have vomit all over it.
That's true. That is such a true statement. Well, anything else about the World Series? We got a couple more minutes left here before we break for the.
The Indians. I mean,
I
here
really
was the
got
pro-
into it. It was the first World Series in a long time that I really got into. I found myself absorbed by it.
It was a lot of fun, but I'll tell you what's interesting is we talked about the Cleveland pitching, the Cleveland bullpen, and yet the Indians had 2 guys, 2, hit over 300 for the series. One, Jose Ramirez, hit 310,
Okay.
and the other, Corey Kluber, was 1 for 2 and batted 500.
But what they hit for
So-
the series?
What
As
do
a
you
team, the whole team, 237.
237. Yeah, they didn't hit. I mean, and if you
But
look at it,
but the Cubs
Lindor-
only hit 263.
Right.
Right.
But I'm just saying the Indians had I mean, yes, they did, and that was the big thing. Lindor, everyone he hit 296, 8 for 27, but scored 2 runs.
They couldn't get him in.
And you can't get him in.
Right.
And Jose Ramirez, who was the only guy who did hit over 300, obviously besides Kluber, and that was a little joke there. I mean, the only guy who hit over 300, one home run, 2 RBI. I mean, so it,
Seven home runs for the Indians, 8 home runs for the Cubs. Cold weather, I think, had a little bit of effect with that, with the ball traveling some and the wind blowing.
It seemed like Lindor was on base all the time. It just seems like he was always getting on.
Well,
It was,
he
but
got-
nobody could get him in.
He got us the tacos in game 1, and we went. It's sponsored last week.
Right.
Yeah. But then, I think the next 3 times he got caught stealing.
Yeah.
So he wasn't even. He was 1 for 4 stealing bases.
They got thrown out a lot. It was an interesting. I think it was an interesting series. I think the whole 2 lovable loser franchises playing each other played out well. I even thought that the broadcast team did a good job with the broadcast, and I didn't have to mute it all the time, only half the time. You just get about 7 innings in, you're like, okay, let me turn it off. I mean, if I heard John Smoltz one more time say about the pitching, I can't
Right.
believe he's going to bring him in here, and what's going to happen tomorrow night? Well, if you don't win today, there is no tomorrow.
night.
And the one thing that after Game 4, basically Joe Buck and John Smoltz were writing the Cubs, obituary.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking to myself, there's going to be a game. They have to come play tomorrow. There's going to be a Game 5, and then when they won in Chicago, they still seem to be writing the Cubs off. And aren't you supposed to be a little more?
Well, you're going back to Cleveland and all
Right.
you
Yeah, you
Well,
think
I know
it's
they're going
one
to
game.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
You think you're going to
I
win
know,
one out of the
I
two.
know.
And so I just think that they just, for me, they did a good job. The broadcast was good. Some of the stuff from the downstairs and bringing those guys in, I thought that was forced a lot of the time. But it was a great series.
It was great.
And Game 7, great for baseball. Fox did a good job.
And I literally, after you said you went to sleep after, I stayed up and watched Pete Rose and Al. Oh, it was good
They were
stuff.
great. They were
and
great.
and Alex Rodriguez
He's great.
He's good.
next
Alex Rod-
week. Are you there?
What?
Do you know?
What? Are we going to get Alex Rodriguez next week?
He's a
What's today? Tuesday, right? No,
Today's
today is
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Next Wednesday, 7:00. Phillips Performing Center of the Arts. What's the speaking group? What are they called? The guys
Accent.
that- Accent is bringing in Alex Rodriguez.
Really?
We got to go.
Free
to that.
tickets at noon, and at the Performing Arts Center in
Gainesville.
in
In Gainesville,
Gainesville,
Florida.
and he's out there at 7:00. They're paying him $85,000
Wow.
to speak.
Wow. Not
And
bad.
be questioned, but hey, it's Alex Rodriguez, so I mean,
We got to go to that.
it's
I think
it's
you should
free.
go.
and
I
we
think you
should
should go and record him. I don't know that I'll be able to go. I'll just be getting back from Clearwater, but
But it's next 7:00 next Wednesday. Tickets are free. I think they go. They are handed out to students at 11, and then
Anybody
anything
else?
left over at
I
noon.
think there'll probably be some leftovers.
Yeah, it's students.
don't-
See,
yeah.
I'm with you. When we get there at noon,
I don't think there'll be. I
There'll be
don't think
some-
it's all. Hey, listen, baseball. You can't watch any this week unless you watch. You recorded something and you record it, or you watch MLB Network and then you can watch maybe some replays.
Well, you can watch this.
Or you can watch this.
you're in Clearwater next Wednesday.
I am in Clearwater next Wednesday.
So then we'll film next Thursday and we'll talk about A-Rod.
We can do that. All right. So have a great day, and we'll come
be
right
back.
back on the second half of Three Ball Walk.
All right.